So we're gonna have a look at Josef Chens' match at Polaris. We're gonna have a look at one of his matches. So this is one of his matches in the team event. I believe this is like his third consecutive match, so he's a little bit fatigued, but let's see how he does regardless. So his opponent opts to pull guard, and immediately Josef is getting head over head and start passing. Let's look at that sequence there. So he opts to steal inside position, or his opponent puts him in reverse del Hiva, and Josef like does a squatting posture like so, and now he aims to start attacking. I think what his opponent is looking for is like some sort of wrestle up where he like pulls him into like a single leg or like a Kosoda lower leg shift half guard as they call it. But what Josef does, which is interesting, to counter the wrestle up or lower leg shift, like what they need is their knees facing down towards the ground. So when he takes these scoop grips on the leg, it makes it pretty much very difficult, if not impossible, for your opponent to wrestle up into you. You can see here, his opponent tried turning in onto his side, but because Josef established that scoop grip, they just can't turn in. And now Josef not only has good control of his opponent, stopping him from wrestling up, he is also in a very good over-under passing position, which is why going underneath the leg with scoop grips is really effective. So from here, he's opting to go over, and he's looking for that dog bar, and I think he did hit this in a previous match. His opponent kind of knows it's coming and turns onto his side. Same thing here. His opponent wants to wrestle up and start turtling, but in order for him to do that, his knees need to face down towards the floor. So as long as Josef keeps his scoop grip on his opponent, he can stop his opponent from turning belly down. So you can see he's also hooking the leg, making it difficult for his knees to point belly down. And he's kind of opting to stay in this position. From here, he goes into like a double leg pass variation. He could have stepped back towards the legs and tried looking at mounting and turking the legs, but he opts just to pass towards side control. His opponent feels like he can't wrestle up into him because of the double leg control. He probably feels like it's awkward to start turning, so instead he opts to turn away, and Josef looks to follow. Josef gets his hand underneath his arm. So if you see, like, in order for his opponent to turn away, they need to get this arm and turn it across the body. So basic pinning, if you can stop that arm from turning across the body, you can control it, you can see how it can get left behind. But you see how he eventually manages to get their arm free, and that's what allows him to eventually turn and give up turtle. Something to think about, like when your opponent is turtling, you want to make it as difficult as possible for them to turtle. If they can turtle without being exhausted, it's kind of a bad thing. Like you want to make sure they have to open everything up so there's space for hooks, there's space for you to easily follow behind. You can start going into your counterattack. So from here, Josef now actually opts to step over the body, kind of similar to what Diego Pato does against Julian Espinoza. And from here, he's actually looking to go into the leg. So he's looking to like establish an overwrap and throw his leg in between and start attacking leg locks. But his opponent is quite smart, and he opts to stand up with his head first rather than his feet and hide his feet from Josef. So what he could have done instead, he could have hooked the bicep with his leg and start backstepping into crucifixes, but he's kind of low in the body and his ankles are unlocked. He is fatigued, so that is a factor, but I think maybe if he locked his legs instead, with his ankles crossed, it would have bought him a little bit more time and a little bit more stability, and then he could have chose his follow-up option a lot better, or like waited a little bit until an opportunity presented itself rather than like kind of rushing. So you can see how he goes for this move, and it isn't really there because his opponent is sitting his weight back onto his heels. But no worries, still a very good exchange. Pretty much he almost passed him. He passed him, made him turtle, and almost took his back. So now his opponent is on the offense. He's looking to high step pass out of this. And Josef grabs the wrist and does a very nice sumigation off balance. So let's look at that. So his opponent's going towards the side. He tries clearing this hook. So he comes up immediately on the counter offense. Tries to high step. And from here, Josef grabs the wrist and starts elevating with the hook. And you can see, because he's grabbing the wrist, he has no base, and he manages to flip him over. This is actually quite nice. And now he manages to establish top position, and he starts working from there. they end up in like this weird scramble position. So just opposite to his butt and start attacking leg locks. His opponent sits up and tries going to bowlers, and now they end up in this battle here. Let's play that back. So bowler, the legs across, it's like a quasi leg locking position. If he can throw this leg back underneath his hamstring and extract this leg, you can end up in like a variation of inside Ashi or Z-lock, but this is still quite good control. He opts to pass towards outside Ashi here, and he kind of attacks this weird sequence, which is like a triangle with the leg included. This can work, but what it kind of does, it preempts your opponent to pull out. You see Josef immediately switches to the short Achilles, which is very nice. So from here he throws a triangle, he chops below the knee, and he locks up tight like so. From here he starts bridging and widening his knee, and look how he gets the foot off the mat. So he locks in low and he gets his foot off the mat. And this is what allows him to break the leg. Anytime the foot's on the mat, it's extremely hard to ankle lock. But because he has this lock below the knee, he can extend, opening up the knee, and he can get pressure on the foot and elevate the foot off the mat. Even if it's only slightly, it's enough to get the break. You can see now he can bridge in and get a very nasty finish and break his leg. So very nice sequence by Josef there. Let's play that back. So in this bowler battle, passes the leg towards outside Ashi. His opponent's so close that he locks a triangle. His opponent pulls out, starts standing up to defend, and then one motion locks it low and starts extending. So if his opponent did manage to pull his knees above the knee line there, he would have alleviated the ankle lock pressure. But you can see how aggressively he threw into this position, that by the time he starts pulling up, he's already like halfway through getting his ankle broken. So he pretty much has two options: let his ankle break and then maybe pull the knee above, or just tap, which is also a very valid option, and live to fight another day. So very good match, and yeah, some good shit by Josef.